It happened. It finally happened. No more speculation, no more wondering, oh, I wonder what Battlefield 1 is gonna be like. It's here, we've seen it, and you know what? I like what I see. Every year people ask, Anthony, what are you excited to see at this year's E3? And I always tell them the same thing. I don't know. My favorite thing about E3 is seeing and experiencing things I didn't know I wanted to see, or at least wasn't expecting. It's those surprises that make me tune into every press conference waiting for them to say, oh, and one more thing, think Kingdom Hearts 3 a few years back, or Twilight Princess's reveal. Those moments were amazing and surprised me out of nowhere. And you know what surprised me out of nowhere at EA Play? Battlefield 1. We obviously knew Battlefield 1 gameplay was going to be shown, and the fact that Neebs and the guys weren't at the office the last few days might have given me a little hint somewhere, and the fact that I worked on that little promo thing that played before Battlefield Squads, and the fact that it crushed Stone Mountains that played right before it. That was actually a really humbling moment. Almost 400,000 people watching something that I worked on was really awesome. Here we go, check this out, and ours leads in with this. Ready, go.
Stone Mountain, I hope you play Battlefield better than you make promos. Hit it!
Anyways, we knew Battlefield 1 gameplay was coming, but what surprised me is how quickly the game won me over. A lot of you guys seem to think I was hating on or complaining about stuff coming out of Battlefield 1, and that wasn't what I was going for. There were hundreds of videos talking about how great the trailer looked, and I just wanted to remain a little more level-headed and not blindly praise a game from developers that have made mistakes in the past. How quickly we forget about the Battlefield 4 launch, but since then, EA and DICE have made major strides, releasing Hardline and Battlefront with almost no problems. And yes, I know DICE didn't make Hardline, but that's another reason I was skeptical about Battlefield 1. Honestly, I like some design decisions in Hardline over Battlefield 4, so to me, DICE isn't a developer that can do no wrong. That being said, Battlefield 1 looks fucking great, and I didn't expect to be saying that after this event, but damn! They first showed off a gameplay trailer, and I was impressed, but kept in mind that it's just a trailer, and they can pick out the best shots and make it look as good as they want. Still, I was really hyped to see Battlefield Squads, the match between Neebs and Stone Mountain, and to my surprise, the same visual quality carried over to the live gameplay, and that's when they had me. Look, we've been tricked with trailers before, but it's hard to fake a good-looking live gameplay, especially when Neebs and Apsro are the ones controlling it.
By the propellers, that's absolutely incredible.
No!
He hit the tree.
So first off, visually, this game looks stunning, better than Battlefront, which already impressed. It was the game's detail that impressed me the most. For years, single-player games have enjoyed a much higher level of detail because of their smaller environments and more linear design. When you are controlling what the player is looking at or confining them to a very small area, you can include a ton more detail than in an open world or large-scale map like Battlefield. But in Battlefield 1, it seems like a shift is happening. The amount of detail in the environments shocked me. Games have looked pretty good for many years now, and we haven't seen a huge jump in visuals like we did in years past, but they might finally be here. The whole game seems to have a unique and elegant design to it, something that I personally think fits the World War I era. Menus are a simple white from what I've seen, and that gives everything an air of respect to the time period. Ground textures are impressive as well, with the amount of tire tracks and details that I haven't seen in other games, and no repeating textures, at least from what I saw in the stream. I feel like all the details will really immerse me in the game and not give me a reason to get sucked out the way glitches or repeating textures can. Speaking of immersion, some people have said that the choice of a female announcer took them out of the experience, but I don't agree. To me, it just seemed like a deliberate choice to differentiate this game from others in the series, which can also be seen in the game's gritty and dark color tone.
Come on! Are you out of your mind? You're gonna get us all killed!
I had planned to do a video about Battlefield 4 called Bring Back the Art, and planned on saying the next Battlefield game should bring back a unique art style. When I think back to Battlefield 3, I remember its high contrast, dark blacks, and slight green hue to everything. It gave the game its own unique style and helped it stand out from the crowd. But when I think back to Battlefield 4, I just think generic, realistic shooter-looking game. But in Battlefield 1, it's clear what game this is and what war this is. The sounds of the weapons also sell this theme, with every gun I heard packing a punch and feeling powerful. And not just shotguns, but rifles, machine guns, explosions. Battlefield has always had good sound design when it plays, but these should make gunplay feel super satisfying. Speaking of gunplay, we got to see a lot of that, obviously. The gameplay seems fast and intense. Ooh, marketing terms, but that's the way it looks, it really does. The The sounds of the guns probably helped that quite a bit, but it also seems like much more of a focus, at least in the matches that we watched. Combat seemed more focused on close quarters combat in this small town, with much more interior environments compared to our typical Battlefield maps. Could just be this one map we saw, but I'm going with what I see. And I would like to see that from a Battlefield game. In the past, I felt like vehicles take precedence over soldiers, at least when it comes to map design. It may also be because there are just less air vehicles than there are in other Battlefield games, and the ones that are there don't seem to go for ground combatants primarily. So ground can focus on ground and air can focus on air, unless you're in the epicness that is the Blimp. I mean airship.
Hey! Stone Mountain! I got a blimp! I got a blimp!
It's an airship, you idiot!
I mean airship!
The Blimp, yes, I'm calling it that, was really impressive, but not with the damage it did, but what happened when damage was done to it. Once the Blimp takes enough damage, it will crash to the ground, wherever it was being flown. Yes, being flown. Players can actually pilot the Blimp and put it wherever they need to help their team. My only concern with this is Trolls Online. A very similar feature was allowed in Battlefield 1942 on Wake Island. Players could drive around the main ships, but most of the time they just drove them out of bounds or into the beach and crashed them, so people, don't be dicks. PTFO. Please. Anyways, once the airship is destroyed, it crashes to the ground, and because it's being driven, it can crash anywhere. It hits the ground in a huge explosion, and then wait, is that, yes, the Blimp stays on the map. This mass of metal actually hits buildings, destroys terrain, and lands wherever it was flying dynamically. Think of it like this game's Levolution events, but instead of it being scripted down to every single brick, it can happen anywhere. And to me, that's amazing. That's the kind of destruction I want to see in a Battlefield game. Destruction was also touched on, but I didn't see a ton of it directly in the gameplay. From what I've seen, I'm hoping it's both bigger in scale and smaller in scale. I want every building to fall, but I also want every board in a wall to be able to be blown out. I saw tanks running over small parts of walls, and the wood in this section looks like it's been shot out, but I can't really tell how detailed it goes. If it's like Rainbow Six Siege where you can make little holes in walls and shoot through them, that would be amazing, but probably too much to ask from a game on this scale. Still, if big chunks of wall and cover can be taken out, that would still open up a ton of awesome gameplay scenarios. Another cool element I noticed was animations for weapons and vehicles. One thing I definitely wanted out of the next Battlefield was just immersion in how the character interacts with the environments and his own guns. Little things like the strap on Nathan Drake's gun in Uncharted 4 hits me and gets me more immersed. In the trailer, you can see many places where animations play out, where in the past they would just happen. For example, this stationary cannon thing needs to be reloaded after every shot, and doesn't just play the sound, like. And one that really got me was the tanks. It seems like in vehicles you have to actually climb in and presumably out of its doors. Not only is it more immersive, but it also kind of fixes the whole musical tank thing. You can probably shoot your enemy when he's climbing into the vehicle, unlike Battlefield 4 where getting in is just instant. And also, like I was hoping, tanks seem to be powerful again. When one rolled up, people ran because the tanks still can be taken down, but they take a lot more punishment than before. These last few things are just random notes I took during the event, so... The revives in this game are syringes, which looks a little funny on a battlefield. You take out this little needle, which is supposed to be done carefully, I assume, and then jam it into your friend, and there you go. It makes sense for the time period, but it does look a little silly, at least for me. The spawn map looks really cool because it is the actual map just zoomed out so you can see the entire battlefield, and actually see explosions and things like that, to better know where you need to go. Soldiers do still have parachutes, which seems a bit weird for this time period. I'm sure they existed, but from what I see online, pilots didn't usually wear parachutes in World War I, but I guess it was such an ingrained part of the Battlefield formula, they decided to just keep it. And finally, one little touch that I love. Your gun gets wet in the rain. Weather can change on some maps just like in Battlefield 4, and if it starts raining, your gun will reflect that. Literally! Look at that gun. Look at it in the rain. It's so beautiful. Oh my god. I'm just so happy to finally get a real good look at Battlefield 1. Oh! I guess the next step is to actually get my hands on it and see how it plays for myself, but unless they announce something like, there's only one map at launch, the rest is DLC, I think I'm gonna like what I play. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know what you thought about the whole Battlefield 1 reveal, and then the Neebs gameplay and the Stone Mountain gameplay. And come on, Neebs. Come on, Neebs. You let us down. I want to rematch Stone Mountain. Let's hashtag rematch at Stone Mountain. Let's get that going. Come on, we need to do it. Sorry if the footage in the video was a little shaky here and there. I got it off the live stream, and obviously the good-looking parts were from the trailer. But best I had right now. thank you guys so much for watching again. Subscribe to the channel if you're not, and like the video if you like the video. Thank you, it helps us out. And also subscribe to us on Twitch, because we Twitch all the time every week, and we could play Battlefield. And you could come see Battlefield 1 when the beta happens, because I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play the beta. I'm gonna do it.